And now, a special called meeting of the McAllen City Commission.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's special City Commission meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. And I believe we only have executive session, so we'll recess into executive session.
Participate in the McAllen Marathon Scott Crane Run. And at this time, I'd like to ask Jamie from Texas Regional Bank to join us for the check presentation.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Jamie Brown Rosas, and I'm here with Nidia Bravo and Elias Trevino, and also Naila Rosas, and we are here proudly representing Texas Regional Bank. Just want to say thank you to the City of McAllen for allowing us this opportunity to come up here and give some brief remarks. We were honored to participate in the Independence Day festivities for 2 years in a row now. We were able to have our 4th of July float 100% dedicated to veterans, meaning that each one of the branches of military was represented on our float, so including Senator Hinojosa and my dad. I was excited about that, and a couple of others as well. So it was neat for our employees. It was neat for our city, everyone involved, so we thank you. And we're especially proud today to be able to present this check to our veterans, Team Red, White, and Blue, in the amount of $6,695.50. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you.
I guess it's my turn. Well, here we go. On behalf of Team Red, White, and Blue, the McAllen-Edinburgh chapter, or over 800 members across the valley, I want to say thank you to the City of McAllen, to Texas Regional Bank. I want to make sure I get it right, that the plug goes well.
It's okay.
It's a lot of support. For the last 4 years, as was mentioned by Karina, we've enjoyed this partnership with the City of McAllen, participating in the 4th of July activities, and then of course our 4K run, which has really grown exponentially over the years. To be a symbol of what Team Red, White, and Blue is nationally, we are a nonprofit organization that enjoys and really enriches veterans' lives in more facets than one. It's social, mental health, lifestyle, community, and family. And representing the 5 branches, including now Space Force, I guess, if you call it a branch. I don't know yet anybody in the Air Force. I don't want to offend. But it really is a team environment, along with our civilian supporters, veteran families, dependents. We really enjoy what we have with the City of McAllen. It's an example of what can happen when a private organization like ours works with the public sector and city government, especially Parks and Recreation, to support a race like this that is part, of course, of the McAllen Marathon Scott Crane Series. It really does well. And so again, on behalf of Team Red, White, and Blue, oh, by the way, my name is Rosendo Villagran. I am a Marine Corps veteran like Senator Hinojosa. This is April Garza. She's a Navy veteran as well, first responder. And Ms. Rubio and I, one of our civilian supporters and a member of our board. We want to say thank you. So thank you again, and to a continued partnership that really blesses a lot of people in many ways. Thank you again.
Also forgot to do a shout out to Elias. Elias was on our float. He works for Texas Regional Bank, and he was in the Navy. That's right. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service.
The next we have public hearing.
Mayor, Commissioners, good evening. Tonight we have 8 items listed under routine, 5 rezonings and 3 conditional use permits. As always, they come with a favorable recommendation from planning and zoning and had no opposition. They are a rezone from C3 to R3A at 2701 West State Highway 107, a rezone from R1 to R3A at 2701 West State Highway 107, a rezone from C3 to R3T at 7901 North 10th Street West, a rezone from R3A to R3T at 7901 North 10th Street East, a rezone from R1 to R3T at 6201 North Ware Road, a conditional use permit for 1 year for a vape shop at 404 South 15th, a conditional use permit for life of the use for a guest house at 1109 Maple Avenue, and a conditional use permit amendment for 1 year for a food truck park at 4300 South Ware.
Anybody here to speak against any of these items? Yes. And this is on which one, sir?
This is on item B4. And I signed up for public.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We're not there yet.
But take a seat real close.
Almost there. Almost. That's the batter's box.
Okay, anybody to speak against any of these issues? No, if not,
Mayor, I make a motion to approve items 1A1 through 8.
do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item B.
And Mayor, I've got to abstain just from item 1A3 and 1A4.
Yes, sir. This is an initial zoning to C3 at 13931 North Ware Road East. This property is located along the west side of North Ware Road, approximately 300 feet south of Russell Road. Adjacent zoning is R1 to the east, and then ETJ immediately to the northwest and south. Surrounding uses include single-family homes, a pet boarding locale, ag, and vacant land. The applicant is requesting C3 for a planned commercial development. The trends along this area of where are a mix of residential and commercial. It was presented at the August 8th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It received no opposition, and it was unanimously recommended for approval.
Anybody here to speak against the item?
No, not yet.
No?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
I'll
Item
be
B
abstaining
stands.
from that item as well.
This is an initial zoning to R2 at 13931 North Ware Road West. This property is located also along the west side of North Ware Road, approximately 300 feet south of Russell. Like the other one, it is ETJ to the south, north, and west, and then R1 across Ware. The applicant is requesting R2 for this section for a planned duplex development. And the item was presented August 8th as well. There was no opposition, and it was unanimously recommended for approval.
Anybody here to speak against the item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 3, B3.
This is an initial zoning to AO at 900 North Abram Road. This property is located on the east side of North Abram Road. It does measure approximately 1,288 acres. Adjacent zoning is ETJ all around, with surrounding uses including ag land as well as vacant land. The applicant is requesting AO as an interim zoning prior to developing the property for a future use. Trends along this area are mostly agricultural. It was presented at the July 26th Planning and Zoning Commission. There was no opposition, and it was unanimously recommended for approval.
Anybody here to speak against the item?
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor,
Against?
if I make a correction, I think I made a second motion on 1B2, but it's related to item 1B1, so I'm going to withdraw that and recuse myself from that item as well.
From,
1B2.
So you have to take the vote.
okay. So can we take a vote again on item B1?
B2.
B2.
I'll make the second. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item is a rezone from R1 to R2 at 324 South Cynthia Street. I will start off by saying that the applicant has requested this item to be tabled. There are some people in opposition, so I can present the item, or you can hear them out.
Which is
Because
the,
we had similar issues with, this is, okay, because we have similar issues, but with the other one, number 4, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then they requested it be tabled Commission, what do we do as a courtesy? We allow tabling the other ones, but
I agree. I think as a courtesy for those present here to allow them to address the board since we
Agreed.
all are here. Yeah.
So-
Take advantage.
We
of
can't
that.
guarantee you can make the next meeting. so.
Right.
Great. So this property is located along the west side of South Cynthia, approximately 115 feet north of East Dallas. Adjacent zoning is R1 all around, with surrounding uses being primarily single-family homes. The applicant is requesting R2 for a duplex development. Staff had previously received 2 phone calls in opposition, citing their desire to keep the area single-family homes. The item was presented at the August 8th Plan and Zoning Commission meeting, where 3 neighbors spoke in opposition, again urging their desire to keep the area single-family homes. Likewise, 2 people spoke in favor of the development due to them owning 4 nearby lots and they wanting to rezone as well if this one would be approved. After some discussion, P&Z proceeded to recommend approval of the rezoning on a 4-to-1 vote. Since that meeting, we have received a signed petition in opposition, and that has triggered supermajority for approval.
okay. Anybody here to speak against the item?
Here you go.
All right, right one. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Commissioners, I live down the street from this property. I've lived there for over 20 years. It's a very good neighborhood, a very safe neighborhood, very little traffic. My son grew up skateboarding up and down the street, stopping by, saying hello to the firemen, who, by the way, are next door to this property. And there's been very little turnover over the last 20 years. And in the last about 3 years, we started to see older properties get torn down, rebuilt to single-family dwellings. Very nice. We're all in favor of that. But in about the last year to 2 years, we've been starting to see more of these multi-housing buildings being put up. For instance, there's an apartment building just 2 or 3 blocks away, right where it's on the corner of 2nd Street. And they put a triplex where there was a single family just 3 or 4 houses up on the other side of the street from this property. And there's other properties for sale, and it just sounds like there's others that they're wanting to rezone. And so, speaking on behalf of the residents of the community, we don't see any upside for us. What this does is it devalues our property. It makes our neighborhood less desirable for long-term potential residents. It multiplies the number of people in the neighborhood, and more than that, it multiplies the number of cars on the street where our kids are riding their bikes and their skateboards. So I see only one upside, and that's for the person building this, because they can charge 2 rents instead of 1. So I'd just like to speak behalf on the neighbors and say we would like this trend not to continue. We would like to keep it single-family dwellings, because we would like to keep the integrity, the safety, and the charm of our neighborhood intact. And so I'd like to ask you to please deny this proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, good afternoon. Patricia Longoria. I live at 400 East Dallas Avenue. I was asked to come speak from a traffic standpoint on Dallas Avenue. Dallas Avenue is a minor arterial. There's a fire station, like the gentleman had mentioned, so we are not eligible for speed humps. We do experience a lot of errant traffic, cut-through traffic through our street, because we do have signals at each end of Dallas, which is great for the residents and the fire station, but because it is a safe passage, people will come through our neighborhood. It is a very walkable neighborhood. We don't have sidewalks, but the neighbors still do walk around. That's how I met most of my neighbors, them walking their dogs or me walking my dog. And they are older homes. I'm only the second owner of our house that was built in 1974. It was built by Jim Moffitt. They're older homes. And even from an environmental standpoint, we have clocked, I think, 17 or 18 different species of birds in our neighborhood. And we even have a flock of, I think it's heron. And every once in a while, you'll see one run over, because the neighbors know that they're there, so we drive through there safely, but other people don't. And, we'll end up with these poor dead birds on the side of the road. With a little bit of research into this property, this is one parcel of 4. Well, it's one block. It's one section of a 4-parcel property, and so it's not just going to be at one duplex that you're adding. when we added the 90 units on that Second Street apartment complex, we added, 640 daily trips through our neighborhood, peak hours 43 and 51. And this doesn't trigger a TIA, but as we piecemeal all of these little redevelopments, we will add the traffic without the traffic improvements that would be necessary for Dallas, which would then in turn cost the city, sitting at that seat at one point, to try to find some kind of solution. And I guess the only solution here would be to stop the growth and not allow any more forced traffic, any more generation from the neighborhood, and just, keep it at the single-family home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? And the applicant isn't here? Okay, does the commission want to table it for,
Motion to table item.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank you. Yes, sir? Yeah, I guess we can.
I recommend just take a motion to take it off the table. when
Yeah.
there's comments.
Make a motion to remove said item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. And go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, this is not my property. I live just around the area. Can you
You got it.
I am one of the persons who requested to be look into these further because we have some other properties around that area that are highlighted in yellow that we wanted to develop. What they're saying is true about the streets being nice to walk around and kids on bicycles, I guess, and everything like that. However, most of this is taking place east of this area, not on the area. If any of you drive by around that area, you see that houses are really, really old. They're falling apart. A lot of houses that are falling apart, they're really vacant. Nobody's really taking care of them, looking at them, or having any desire to fix them. I live in 312 South Peking Street, and our property taxes have doubled in the last 5 years. And for me, it's amazing that the prices have just gone up like that. Now, we wanted to keep up, we wanted to do something for the neighborhood, we wanted to develop further, but unfortunately it was not possible. Red marks in your, on the picture, those are people who rent the properties there, they're not owners. Blue are multi-families, 3 or 4 families living in that property as you see it. And the ones in yellow are vacant, and there's like, there was a suggestion about the Chicago alley going across. If you see that yellow, that's its block house. I requested to put actually some pictures before over the phone, and they said it was not possible, that I can just bring something on paper. So I'd really like to see if it's possible for further meetings to actually bring something that I can actually show. A video of all the properties I walk by, that you can actually see the houses the way they are. And if you can see the houses east of that, I guess the fire department, they're beautiful houses. I mean, over there, they're excellent. They're $300,000-$400,000 houses, and our houses are less than $200,000, and a lot of the houses are even less than $170,000. So, I mean, they need a fix-up. And in order to, I mean, if you have multiple houses on each lot, it's going to bring more revenue to the city as well. I know there's going to be more traffic, but I mean, we have to start somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, for or against? Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to table?
Yeah, before, I make a motion to table item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
We need a motion to take item B5 off the table.
Motion to remove from table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries off the table.
This property is located on the east side of Bicentennial, approximately 740 feet north of Northgate Avenue. It does total about 8.1 acres. Adjacent zoning is R1 to the west, south, and east, R1, R3T, and R4 towards the north, with surrounding uses including single-family homes, townhomes, and mobile homes. The development, or the applicant rather, is requesting R3A for a proposed 20-lot detached duplex development. Since then, it has gone up to 22 lots. Detached duplex development, which would then be 84 units, Staff has received a petition from neighboring residents in opposition, citing traffic, property values, and overdevelopment of the area in a mainly single-family home area. This petition has triggered supermajority. The item was presented at the June 20th Plan and Zoning Commission meeting where several residents spoke in opposition. After hearing the applicant and the residents, P&Z recommended disapproval of the rezoning. I believe we have both the applicant and some opposition here today.
Okay. Do we have anybody to speak against the item?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Well, thank you for giving us the time to speak here today. As you know, it's been quite a while that we've been coming back, and we just wanted to continue.
Can we have your name and address for the
I'm
record?
sorry, yes, Laura Garcia, and my address is 1325 Ozark Avenue. I live in Villaggio, which is north of this property. Actually, my backyard would be right on the line of this property. And we are opposed to this, and reason being is we love the city of McAllen. We love the economic growth that we've been seeing, the development. It's beautiful, and we are for this, right, for economic growth. However, we do ask to keep this area residential, single-family homes. Most of the area here in North McAllen is single-family homes. We have several large homes of acreage, the gated subdivision, which I live, and we would like to continue this area as such. Bicentennial was built to create access to South McAllen, a quick access from North McAllen, and none of the subdivisions actually tap into Bicentennial for that reason. If anything, north of Nolana does not tap out to Bicentennial for that reason. And I think this would create a lot of chaos, especially I had a daughter that was going to Mac High, so I would have to take Northgate and Bicentennial. And as it is, it's a lot of traffic. And that's, you know, not that many developments yet there. So having these many apartments there, the fourplexes, would create a lot of traffic. Also, like I said, we'd like to keep the area as such as residential. There's a lot of development going up. I mean, just recently was announced a $210 million development there in Wisconsin and 10th Street, and they're all high-end townhomes and apartments. So we like to keep just the same flow of situation here. We do welcome development there. Townhomes, single-family homes, continue gated subdivisions. The reason that we all purchased this was precisely for that, because of the area, the quality of life, for our families and our children. So I've grown up in McAllen, North McAllen most of my life, and, especially that area. And that's all we're requesting for you to please just listen. Like they mentioned, most of the residents in the area are opposed to it. We do welcome any single-family homes and townhomes. We'd love to have more neighbors, but keeping it as such. So we really, we ask you to, just listen to our requests, and hopefully we keep McAllen beautiful and our growth as, how it's been planned throughout the years.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good afternoon, City Commissioners and Mayor Villalobos. You may have seen the objections that came from the Villaggio subdivision. They're in the file. Several of them of my neighbors are here today. Raise your hand if you're from the Villaggio. There's more of us who just couldn't make it or have been trying to make the meetings. But I just want to let you know, Ms. Garcia, who just spoke, basically spoke what we wanted to say. So we all echo her statements. And we ask you to give this serious attention. We're all extremely concerned about this, and we hope that you'll deny this proposal.
Thank you.
For the record, Ray Reynaldo Merino, M-E-R-I-N-O. I'm at 1213 Ozark. I live in the Villaggio. I also own another lot in the Villaggio at 1208 Providence. And I moved there from Villa Norte, a good subdivision. But I wanted to get somewhere more private, where I thought there'd be some quietness around, and hopefully we can keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else speak against the item?
Esteemed Commissioners, Mayor, good afternoon.
Your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Humberto Tijerina. The address is in Northgate. I'll be glad to expound on it. I've submitted a letter, and they should have it in writing. You've been selected by the community to make sure that we have the proper decisions made to effectuate the vision for McAllen. By now, this matter's been tabled 4 times. 2 commissioners have sought the need to recuse themselves. But the reality is that this decision is simple. It's an easy decision for many reasons. Number 1, the city staff has recommended this approval. Number 2, the city attorney has recommended this approval. Number 3, the city manager has recommended this approval. Number 4, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended this approval. And finally, the community has overwhelmingly stated their disapproval for this 4-plex subdivision to rezoning to occur. Now, I say it's a simple decision, and you can see why, but just in case there's any doubt still lingering, let me allow you to take you back to December 10th, 2007. McAllen leadership did something really special for our community, and they adopted the Foresight McAllen Comprehensive Plan. And when adopting it, the city leaders specifically said the following: the adoption of this plan makes a statement about the city's commitment to good planning and its preparedness. The plan's vision declares that through following the plan, McAllen will be the valley leader economically, culturally, and environmentally. The plan represents a consensus among the community's leadership and its citizens regarding the quality and character of future development and the infrastructure to support it. So, with regards to this rezoning request, it's important to note that the primary trend of this area is primary single-family residential, and it's therefore designated as a suburban residential area. Number 2, Bicentennial, as you all are aware, has been designated a high-speed arterial road. What does the plan say with regards to that? The McAllen plan clearly states that the property access to high-speed arterials should be fully restricted. So think about that for a bit. In this planning that went on, the area is single-family residential and property access to high-speed arterials should be fully restricted. This alone is overwhelming reason why to disapprove of this rezoning request. Finally, consider this. We have drainage issues in the area. There's flooding when there's big storms in the back. That whole area is flooded. I don't know if the developer has taken that into consideration. If the development was to result, imagine the traffic that would happen. But not only that, take into account holidays, parties, or if there was a fire that ended up happening in the area, the traffic getting out of there would be hellish. Finally, 15 seconds to conclude. This approval of the rezoning is the only decision to make by each and every one of you, and everyone here knows this. Therefore, I encourage you to vote in favor of progress in accordance with the McAllen plan, in line with the wishes of the community, and against the rezoning request. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else wishes to speak against the item? Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is Gene Reed. I live at 1317 Ozark Avenue, adjacent to where the property is in question. And I just wanted to highlight a few recaps. Kudos to my community that has come together to voice their opinions. I've reached out to many in the community, and everyone that I've spoken to has very great concerns about this particular property, mainly because of the way it would impact the rest of the neighborhood. And a couple of small items that are really not small items are the access to Bicentennial. The city spent millions of dollars creating a high-capacity thoroughfare with none of the other subdivisions having access. If you look at the plot plan as to how it was going to be laid out, the entry point to get in and out of that is very small. God forbid there's ever a catastrophic situation where people have to leave quickly, it would be chaotic.
The other thing is, Mr. Tiarina had spoken about the flooding. I actually have a picture if you'd like to see it. Be happy to show this to you. This is from the Realtors website. It shows the type of flooding that is constantly. The type of flooding that occurs in that area. And in the plat that they drew, the retention pond that they have is no bigger than a small swimming pool. And what's happening is they're taking permeable land, excuse me, that water drains through, and basically clearing it, and it's going to be cement and blacktop. So there is no permeable land remaining. So if we have any type of water whatsoever, the water situation is going to impact many of the neighbors on Northgate, many of us on the Bellagio side, just because it has nowhere to go other than that point. So I don't think that those have been addressed properly. There's no green space. There's no amenities. There's nothing there but house after house after house. So that's the main thing. And then the other thing I want to remind you of is that we've been talking about this for quite some time. We got a notification in the mail in May. We attended 2 P&Z meetings, planning and zoning meetings. One was tabled. At the next meeting where we met, in my opinion, was rather contentious because the concerns that we brought forth were met with attacks to the city council, to the P&Z, threats that if they didn't get this approved, that it would be turned into 300 tiny homes for Haitian immigrants, and I quote. So we tried to have our communication, but that communication never happened, even though it had been claimed. So we haven't gotten any feedback and from or input. We would like to compromise. We would like to come up with a valid solution.
Sir, that's your time. I need to ask you to wrap it up,
had
please.
suggested looking into the possibility of a PUD. So there are other alternatives, but we've gotten no cooperation from the other side. As such, we are in agreement in our area that it that it not be
that's time.
move forward.
Thank you, sir.
My apologies for running over.
Anybody else speak against the item? Not anybody for the item?
Hello, my name is Darth Vader, otherwise known as Tim Wilkins, the developer. Just to start off, to go against the opposition, everything that they've complained about so far is about the dynamics of their own specific neighborhoods. They live in high-density townhouses, 0 lot line. They have no yards. What I've proposed is actually less density than what they live on. Traffic. Can we tell them to please just keep it to a minimum? They say I've been contentious. I fully admit that I do have my personality, but I have tried to be respectful with them, and it has not been reciprocal, and I'm kind of at my limit. But with regard to traffic, they exit onto 10th Street. Okay, there is no chance, or very minimal chance, that any traffic from this development is going to be any greater with fourplexes versus single-family residential. It's a piece of land that's been vacant for its entire existence. Bicentennial happened to come through and bisect it, made it now usable. I'm going to go in and just read my statement. They have opposed literally any and all uses other than R1. They state the R1 designation has been in place for years and served the community well. The statement's true, and the subject property has been ag-exempt grassy field for its entire history. They next state changing the zoning would hypothetically have negative consequences. The statement is vague and ambiguous. There is simply no way to logically address the vagueness of such a hypothetical. There's simply no way this 8-acre tract will remain a vacant green space forever. They then get a little more specific and state that hypothetically development of the lot will create traffic congestion. The reality is the density of my proposed fourplex development of 86 units in fourplexes will create no more additional traffic than an R1 subdivision would.
Additionally, there is not one complainant who actually exits or enters their property on Bicentennial. Villaggio can only enter and exit via private drive to 10th Street. In order for this development to impact them, they'd have to exit 10th, do a U-turn on Northgate on the Bicentennial to reach us. It's highly improbable many, if any, would take that route. Regarding the 3 Northgate residences who oppose, they too do not exit or enter onto Bicentennial. They have direct access to Northgate. They mentioned development would hypothetically reduce property values. The reality is simply not true. It will be an $8 to $10 million development with a benefit to the city's tax base. It would provide above average rental housing in the wealthiest area of town. Our city has thrived when a logical, homogeneous mix of various zoning uses are mixed together. The entirety of 10th Street is commercial land that backs to residential. You drive around town, you'll see a logical mix of various property types, zoning, all within each other. Regarding Villaggio, when they purchased, each owner did so knowing they were right next to a high-density trailer park. Only within the last 3 years has that property been rehabbed to make it more presentable. There are a total of 3 massive trailer parks in relevant vicinity to them. What we propose to build is much higher quality than what they found acceptable when they purchased. That statement is the most impactful statement that I'll make today about this matter. Regarding the opposing residences on Northgate, the reality is the entire back 50% of each one of their lots is zoned ag exempt with animals. 1420 Northgate actually hired my tax consulting firm, stating his taxes were too high, and we were successful in reducing his property tax value, lowering his bill. It's totally disingenuous to claim that we are going to harm property values when they're hiring professionals to reduce our appraised value of their property. The opposition on the corner has horses, cattle, goats. It's a stretch to say that the development here will be any more of a nuisance than defecating farm animals that they have on their own property. That's just the case against the opposition. I've got a similar time for the case for rezoning if I could have the time to do that.
You know, I think there was about 4 or 5 people who spoke. I think it'd be only time.
Regarding the case for rezoning, thank you, Mayor. The subject property has been for sale for 11 years. I had no less than 4 meetings with city staff when the project was initiated. The only development we ever spoke of was fourplexes. The concerns about this property all came about after nearby residents were mailed notices of potential zoning change. After notices went out and people began calling to inquire, city staff only told the callers what maximum density was hypothetically allowed within the requested zoning. That hypothetical density was something around 475 apartments. The actual development intent was never discussed with callers or disseminated, and this caused an unnecessary panic from the city to the people here today. Only a few days before my initial planning and zoning meeting was I informed the density was even a possibility. Now, the reason for the R3A zoning request is multi-pronged. During meetings with city staff, it was mentioned that fourplex zoning ordinance was antiquated and needed some updating for a variety of reasons. According to Edgar, the ordinances get revamped and retooled next month, and when that occurs, what we were discussing would most likely be staff recommended. Is that an accurate regurgitation?
I can address that.
All right. The fourplex zoning requires sprinklers in many cases, which every builder obtains variances to avoid. The R3A zoning allows a storage unit to be constructed for each unit. We had a desire to utilize the extra space we had on the larger lot sizes to provide more amenities for the tenant. Also, our private drive has to come in at an angle, and it ends in a cul-de-sac, which creates a few lots that are different sizes. One would fit only 3 units, the other would fit 5. For all these reasons, R3A made sense because it covered all of what we needed instead of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole with a dozen variances. In the packet that I've given to you, I've provided printouts of the proposed design layouts of the units. This product has been built all over town, most recently on the south side off of McAllen, Yuma, where they built about 150 of them. We're actually copying that development with that developer's permission. I've also provided a copy of the engineering fee proposal we've been operating under for the development. The engineering proposal and the plat, which has been approved by planning and zoning, all verify the intent is to build fourplexes as I described. Last in your packet is a copy of a check for $35,000 and a reservation contract whereby I have sold lots 13 through 19 to an independent builder I have no association with. The proceeds of that sale, $800,000, are intended to be utilized for infrastructure development costs. The lots being sold will be heavily restricted to ensure conformity to material usage and exterior design to create a unique, same-style private community. The fact that I've sold the middle of this project out is more evidence that we're not going to just do an about-face and try to put in a massive apartment complex in here. With all the above, there just simply is no way the zoning request is some nefarious ploy to undo all that has been done to go and attempt to build 400-plus apartments, which in reality simply will not fit. My intent is to build 84 to 86 single-story apartments. I respectfully request you approve the zoning request for the realities of everything I've stated, not deny based on hypothetical concerns that have 0% chance of occurring. I can assure you all that once this project is complete, the opposition will have zero complaints, if they even notice any activity there at all. And lastly, I got 3 sentences left. Some of the commissioners have expressed willingness to do R3T for townhomes. That type of zoning is going to create higher density. It's going to require 2 or 3 story townhomes, which would be far worse for the neighbors by way of intrusion. It'd be much more costly to build, and it'd be almost impossible to sell in this economic climate with interest rates skyrocketing. You have to look no further than to these neighbors for proof of what I say. I was part of the original development group that owned where Villaggio is. The original developer tried to put in some garden homes, got foreclosed on. Alonzo Cantu took it over, replatted to do higher density, made it work. I'm very well versed in real estate, and I know the same series of events will occur to me if I'm forced into a development which simply will not work in today's climate. There's nothing proposed here that isn't reasonable and logical. I ask you please approve my request. If you cannot or will not, please cite specific reasons why. I'm done.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Okay, we need to make sure that everybody is there. Anybody else that wants to speak against the item?
Merino.
He already spoke.
You might have a rebuttal.
We got to make sure that everybody speaks on this.
Excuse me, Mr. Darth Vader. Excuse me. Hi, good evening. Patricia Merino, 1213 Ozark Avenue, McAllen, Texas. I oppose it. We all have backyards, that is incorrect. You need to drive by a little bit. And our backyards will be very close to all the trees that we have there. So I saw the plaque that he had with where they were gonna build it, and literally they'll be like right in my backyard. They'll be seeing everything. Whatever he decides to do is right to all the backyards. We're gonna lose all the trees, all the greenery is gonna be gone. That's just personal. That has nothing to do with any laws or whatever you guys do. It's just personal. We wanna keep it pretty. We wanna keep it residential. We all agree that we buy in that area because we wanna keep it that area. We don't wanna bring that into that area. It is just like commercial, you keep that there. Other residentials, you keep it there. We just want to keep it this way, the way it was intended in the plan that he mentioned in 2007 or 2010. So I'm very nervous. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Good afternoon. I'm Patrick Wilcox. I'm a retired pediatric dentist and been living at Villaggio for the last 5.5 years. And I just don't want to go over what everybody just said, but, thinking about it, what is the problem of keeping it as a single-family home? That's what we're saying. I mean, we want the city to be able to benefit from the taxes and the development and everything. But I don't think the area is a good area for all the units that the gentleman wants to do in that area. We already talked about the traffic and everything else, but I don't know why he doesn't want to consider or, doing a high-end type of single-family home, and everybody's going to benefit from it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for or against?
30 seconds.
Let's just grab it real quick.
That's okay.
Martha Wilcox, and I live at 1117 Providence Avenue. It is not I live on one of the garden homes, not the townhomes. So it's all of us that are opposed because of the same reasons. That other project that was just announced is going to have a bunch of units, or they are proposed. It has been approved. And so it is, again, saying that we don't need that many more units, more traffic in the same near area. Keeping it as R1, it will be our preference if it's considered. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
To clarify their point about why R1 on this specific piece won't work, the nature of the way it's laid out does not give you the space or the width to sell $200,000 and $300,000 lots, which are going to have $1 million homes needed to justify the land cost. So it just doesn't work financially. It's a numbers game. That's why we're talking about wanting to do upscale, fourplex rental properties. That's it. I mean, and I can't say it enough. The property is going to develop one way or another. What we're proposing produces no more traffic than what a single-family residence would do. It's just a fact.
Thank you. And this item was tabled several times. That's why I'm trying to give everybody an opportunity that wants to talk to go ahead and talk. And we respect, of course, everybody's time, but we also respect your time. And everybody made an effort to come several times. So if there's anybody else that wants to speak, this is it.
Just real quick, Mayor. I wanted to add, like Mr. Wilkins said earlier, yes, we do have trailer parks behind, and I'm speaking from experience. I sold more than 90% of villages to work at the time for Mr. Cantu. The biggest hurdle I had was the trailer houses. When it came to financing and going to get appraisals, when it came to financing the houses for the buyers, that always came up, and it was a huge hurdle. And building fourplexes will harm us for resale purposes. Because usually when you sell a house, they do a radius of like 25 miles. I had to get out of North McAllen and go into 2nd Street, Dove, get comps from Mission and stuff like that. So this is why I'm saying, yes, it's going to keep the good, single family home. That's going to help everybody's property value. Yeah, it's not the way that it's going to go down or go up. It's just harm when it comes to resale purposes. A lot of people want to move and purchase lots or homes in areas like this because they want to keep that value of quality of life and their property. So it does harm the property. Like we said earlier, we do welcome. We're not saying for it not to be developed ever. No, we do welcome neighbors. We want to have neighbors, but I think it should just stay in the single family, in the zoning that it is right now. Opening it to what he's requesting, maybe he's not going to do it, but then the other lots that are empty, other developers can say, okay, you know what, he did fourplexes, but I do want to do the apartments, the 3, 4, 5-story apartments. So that opens up the can of worms, to others. So that's why we want to keep it like that. And like I said, just keep McAllen beautiful, keep that zone area nice, and we welcome any neighbors that are in the single family home.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Abdallah Khalifa, and I live in 1101 Northgate Lane. And I'm here against it because, okay, we've been there for over 25 years. All my daughters were raised there. And we just purchased the property on 10th Street just so we, I don't want someone to go build just anything there. We want to keep it, like it is right now. And I think apartments would really, and again, the street is real narrow, and I think it's a bad idea. So, thank you.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
2 seconds. He's not in the notification impact area of the project matter, and I've had some very serious legal battles with his stepdaughter. There's a lot of emotion with some of these people that are targeted to me personally, not necessarily the project. And so I don't know if everybody that spoke here today lives in the project impact area. I know for sure he doesn't, and for whatever that's worth, it ought to be discounted.
Sure, no, I'm pretty sure the commission will take into consideration the factors necessary for this one. Yes, sir.
My name's Edward Pequeño, and I live at 1609 Northgate Lane, right on the corner of Northgate, Bicentennial, and Main. Please don't put it in the street behind me. I'll be in an island. So I'm in opposition to this project that's been going on right now. Hear a lot of people in my neighborhood that are denying this, and I want to let you know that I am also against this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I guess the one final one.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the time. This will be real brief. We've heard Wilkins state several times that he doesn't know if anybody here is from the affected area. I'm here from the affected area, and I'm sure he knows that. He says that that less traffic is bound to happen from a single family. That there's no less traffic bound to happen from single family, and that the fourplexes would actually help. I don't understand what kind of single family he's planning on building, but if you build a normal single family, I seriously doubt that 88 vehicles, which is what he wants to build, 88 units, are going to match the amount of vehicles in single family housing that is designated for. He spoke about Bellagio and 10th Street and says, hey, they have access to 10th Street, it's not going to affect them. That's not the issue here. The issue here is that there should be no access to Bicentennial because it doesn't go along with the McAllen plan. Regardless of what happened in Bellagio, that's no bearing on the decision that needs to be made here today. He tries to mention the trailer parks that is north of the area. Those are grandfathered in. They were in there years before McAllen even acquired that property, so that does have no bearing in the decision that is going to be made today. Finally, he says it doesn't work financially. Well, I'm here to tell you that maybe it doesn't work financially for him. Maybe he hasn't figured out a way to make this work, or maybe it's not the right time for whatever kind of project he has in his mind to develop. Let's wait for the right person to come along and make sure they choose beauty and form that goes along with the McAllen plan that we all are here to abide by. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
This guy filed a lawsuit trying to blow up my sale. We beat him in court. He lost in court, and he's just a bitter Betty is all it is. He's trying to buy it. So this little smooth talking silver tongue lawyer nonsense is all that is. It's a.
Thank you so much. I think we've heard enough. I think we need the commission knows there's issues regarding the item. It's been tabled. We've been here, I think, 3 or 4 times, and there's things we need to consider. Anything else we need to hear about?
So I do want to address a couple of things, just for the public's sake. When staff does receive a phone call, we, as planners, we have to let them know what the impact could be, right? So when the public calls and says, what would they be able to build, we have to tell them that by right, with our code, if it gets R3A, then there's 200, 300 units that are possible, right? We don't make a statement on how feasible it may or may not be, what the developer specifically is promising to do. We have to tell them what the code says. I will also say that, yes, one of the things that we are addressing in the new code is the fact that currently you need apartment zone to build detached duplexes. That's something that we're 100% going to fix, or we're looking to fix. Obviously, the code should come before you in a couple of months. I'm not going to go ahead and say that would the new code be implemented, would we be recommending approval? I can't say that. The only reason I want to caveat that is because at this point we don't know, or we haven't finalized rather, what will be permitted, conditional, and prohibited uses for each zone. So there may be something in there that will make me think twice, but the idea currently is to create a zone, a duplex zone, that will allow for your detached duplexes, which is what he's proposing. But again, what is before you guys today is apartments, and legally with our current code, they would be able to build around 300 units, and so that is where staff came from to recommend its approval, and that's where P&Z looked at it as well.
Okay, then we're looking into, I guess everybody needs to realize there's different things, and this is not easy. I know, Mr. Teguerina, it's an easy decision. I wish it were. I wish it were, because we need to balance the interests of course, all the people around the surrounding areas, and we also have to balance the interests of the landowner. Because at the very end, it's not a detention pond either. I mean, they need to develop, somebody's gonna develop one way or another. So we need to figure out what we are gonna do at this certain point in time, because it may change in a few months, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, we may be revisiting this in a few months again. So, excuse me. So any questions, issues?
I have a question. They mentioned bicentennial.
Yes, sir.
There's a problem with bicentennial to be in the entrance over there. Can you explain a little bit?
Well, I mean, bicentennial is controlled access. We don't want to give too many curb cuts. Now, at the same time, we can't prohibit a property from being able to access a road, right? The idea right now, and traffic, or Eduardo can say a little bit more about it, is to have La Floresta Phase 3, which is just to the north of this property, to the west of Bellagio, and this property to share one access point off of Bicentennial. So we limit, again, those curb cuts off of Bicentennial. That is the proposal from staff right now. I know each subdivision is currently kind of wanting their own access, but that is yet to be seen if that'll happen.
So, anything else? Rudy, one more.
Are we gonna have more discussion, or?
Yeah, no, we have, Roy, and issues with the curb cuts, all that type of stuff. I know Bicentennial, how many do we have, or what are we looking at?
Well, I mean, we try to be objective when we're looking at curb cuts on Bicentennial, Mayor. This property has limited areas where it can access public roads. So as Edgar said, this would probably fall into one of the exceptions to allow it. The staff and I would prefer not to have any more curb cuts on Bicentennial for the very reason that we built it for mobility. However, you've got to give a property an ability to access.
Which is the reason you're looking at La Floresta.
Correct.
Correct, and all that is handled at the subdivision phase.
And is that being done right now?
Correct, no, sir.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Over. You can sit here. Yeah, go ahead, sit here. We have an existing curb cut, okay, and there's no need for us to do anything but use what's already there, okay? The problems have come in is that the city has gone ahead and approved development north and across the street from us, and because of those developments that got approved, they're trying to get us to modify and share a drive. Now, I will tell all of you this. I am more than happy to try to accommodate that city desire of having one entrance where we tee off and go to our respective neighborhoods, and I will donate some of the land to facilitate that for the city's purpose of keeping that a high-speed roadway. But as it stands, I don't need to do that because I've already got the curb cut. La Floresta does not have a curb cut, and they can't go in unless I do something with them. That's the catch-22 here. But I'm not here to argue about them. I'm here to argue about our deal. But I'm willing to work with the city and help facilitate that as a olive branch if we can do what we're asking to do.
Can you address that, or what is there? Or?
Yeah, I'd rather Edgar address that.
I mean, again, that's at subdivision. Obviously, when subdivisions come in, we take them at the existing point in time, and at that time when La Floresta came in, this subdivision wasn't existing yet, right, or wasn't proposed. Once we have two competing ones, competing for lack of a better term, we look at all that when we analyze and traffic analyzes the impact on Bicentennial and the curb cuts that will be received.
Commission.
Mr. Garcia, what's the zoning immediately north of the subject property? Is that R3T?
R3T, sir, townhomes.
No, Mayor, on this issue, this particular lot, I guess before Bicentennial Boulevard has been zoned residential 1 since 1985. Correct. Right, so before Bicentennial, quite honestly, I don't know how anyone got access to that lot. Maybe it was off 10th Street, I don't know, maybe even off Northgate. I think this lot has become more fiscally viable for development now that Bicentennial Boulevard has made its way through that part of town. I completely agree with the overall scheme of our city streets. Maintain Bicentennial Boulevard as a high-speed arterial, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, also at the same time, I'm not trying to use a legal term of art here, but we don't want to have a reverse condemnation of a piece of property that's owned by a property owner, and he has that bundle of sticks to develop that property as he sees fit, as long as it fits the goals and objectives of the local jurisdiction.
And if that's the case, council, do we need to discuss any issues in executive regarding that issue?
I'd be happy to address any legal issues the commission has in the executive session.
Well, I think that may raise an issue regarding that. I think we probably should recess into executive session.
I'll make a motion to recess.
We don't need a motion, let's just recess.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we're back from executive session.
Okay, so, I see now that with the development bicentennial, you know, obviously this lot is becoming a little bit more viable for development, and certainly who are we to interfere with any particular property owner's rights to develop their lot or piece of property as they see fit within the rules and ordinances of the municipality or local jurisdiction. I know that this particular request for zoning is not that much different from another rezoning that happened maybe 10, 15 years ago. The subdivision is called Colgate Crossing, which is located off North Depot Road, just a little bit north of Auburn. You have the Rock subdivision on the north, Auburn Village to the south. Those were all zone R1, and at one point Colgate Crossing was in fact zone R1 and became rezoned as R3T, which is the townhouse category. R3A is in the same category as R3T for townhouse, as well as R3C condominium. So there was a lot of discussion way back then. Obviously I wasn't on the board, but I recall there was a concern about multifamily housing going and being squeezed in. Ultimately, a prior board of the city approved it for R3T, where if there was no viable person or entity of interest to develop at R1, then the only thing that it would default to would be multifamily. I believe this current circumstance for the applicant is not that much different. You know, if in fact it was viable since 1985 to build on R1, I would have think after 40 years someone would have already done that. Obviously, the number of years that transpired show or indicate that it has not even been viable. Bicentennial has been open for 3 years as well. And it's still not viable until we have someone now wanting to develop. And I think we all share the same interest in making sure that our city is being developed with the same vision and forethought, becoming the leading city in South Texas in the Valley. You know, where we have prime communities, we have communities with retail and shopping and parks and public venues to partake in. And I do believe that our quality of life is unrivaled. I don't believe that a R3A zoning would be such a detriment to that part of town. And I believe Mr. DeCanini is correct that mobile home park was there way before the city limits even hit it. So in a sense, it is grandfathered in. But even if we see in Bellagio, you see part of it is R1, but there's another almost half, which was zoned, I suspect, later R3T. Why? Because apparently it was inviolable enough based on the economics to continue with R1. I think we have a situation here where this is going to be the exception and not the rule, to where we are minimizing the number of curb cuts to Bicentennial. I don't believe that this is going to have a detrimental effect with the overall traffic flow. I also see that, at least in this current state, the residents of Bellagio only exit and enter through 10th Street. The residents of Northgate only enter and exit through Northgate. And there would only be really maybe potentially 3 subdivisions: Silver Oak, La Floresta, and this proposed lot that would feed into that intersection. I can see, you know, that could be a problem. However, if that node is a little closer to Northgate, I think we're seriously looking at problems in terms of just trying to exit. But it looks like it's at least 800 feet, maybe even 1,000 feet north of that intersection of Northgate and Bicentennial, that I don't believe we're going to have that type of traffic flow. You know, and unfortunately, this lot does not exit 10th Street. I think if it did, we may be having a different conversation about that, but it doesn't. We just have to go with the facts as they are today. I don't know if anybody's ready, but I'm ready to make a motion, and that's a motion to approve the request made by the applicant for rezoning to R3A.
So being a first, is there a second? Do I hear a second? If not, the motion dies for lack of a second.
Thank you, Mayor.
Do I hear any other motions? If there's no motions, no action, dies.
Members of the commission, our community has been here for the better part of 3 months. We have more than adequate time to listen to their concerns, read their emails, receive their texts. Everybody here, both the applicant and those against the rezoning, have been made an effort to be here again this time. I implore you to please, someone urge or make a motion.
You make up a good point there, Commissioner. You made a motion. I'll make a follow-up motion. I'll make a motion to deny the rezoning.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Motion carries.
To be clear, that's a motion to deny the request.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, what do we have next?
Sir, next item is a conditional use permit for life of the use for a portable food concession stand at 2401 West Highway 83. This property is located on the southwest corner of Business 83 and South 24th. It is zoned I-1. Adjacent zoning is I-1 to the northwest and east, and then R2 to the south. Surrounding uses include businesses, homes, and vacant land. The initial conditional use permit in this location was approved in 2012 and has been issued to different applicants subsequently, the last one being approved in February of 21. The applicant is proposing to use a 100 square foot portable food concession stand as a storage for their on-site food truck. The item was heard at the August 8th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. There was no opposition, and it was unanimously recommended approval for 1 year as opposed to their request, which is life of the use.
Anybody speak against the item? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
So move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. May I have a motion to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of McAllen?
Was that for life of the use, or was that for 1 year?
For 1 year.
1 year.
Sorry. Before we do that, Mayor, about amending the zoning ordinance, I just want to note for the record that Commissioner Aguirre and Commissioner Haddad had abstained from item 1B5 on that discussion or vote. Okay. And with that, I make a motion to amend the zoning ordinance as requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item is a public hearing and adoption of an ordinance providing for the annexation of 1,288 acres gross at 18,900 North Abram. Again, this property is located on the east side of North Abram. Tract comprised about 1,288 acres. Adjacent properties are all in the city's ETJ. The property was initially zoned AO earlier today, and we are recommending that it be annexed. There have been no calls in opposition.
Anybody here speak against the item? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Next item is a public hearing and adoption of an ordinance providing for the annexation of 4.687 acres of land at 13931 North Ware Road. This property is located on the west side of North Ware, approximately 300 feet south of Russell. Again, it does total 4.68 acres. Adjacent properties to the west and south are ETJ, and to the north and east are R1. The property was initially zoned C3 and R2 earlier today. There have been no calls in opposition, and we are recommending annexation.
Anybody here to speak against the item? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
I'll
We have-
abstain from that item as well.
Yes, sir.
Technically, the annexation of one of the previous items.
We have consent agenda, items A through K. Do you pull anything out?
Motion to approve A to K.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 3.
Item 3A and B are emergency purchases, Mayor and Commission, that we recommend approval. There are air conditioning units at the library and at IMAS.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
I pro tem.
3C is consideration approval of emergency repair on the Bicentennial Boulevard noise attenuation barrier.
Mayor Pro Tem and Commission, a concrete wall on Bicentennial sustained damage on two separate automobile impacts resulting from substantial damage. The incident has compromised the barrier structural integrity, and is important to note that the barrier serves as an important component to Bicentennial's Boulevard extension's infrastructure, aiding in noise reduction and ensuring the well-being of residents. The total proposed cost of this emergency repair is $191,079.01, inclusive of all associated expenses required to restore the barrier structural integrity. Staff is working with our legal department to recover costs that we're able to recover through the insurance. Engineering and city staff recommend approval of the funding in the amount of $191,079 with 1 cent for the repair and damages of the noise attenuation barrier, and we open it up for any comments. We've added some pictures at the end just so you can get an idea of what happened to the wall as well.
Can you just say that city attorney's office is looking into getting?
We've got claims against the tortfeasors.
Claims against the what?
The people that caused the damage, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, obviously, there is a long stretch of this barrier. So, you know, we need to be prepared to try to take care of this, and this is the first one, okay? But how can we react a little faster? And now knowing how to do this, and is this, I mean, this is an excessive amount, okay? I know we're gonna probably get some back from you know, the insurance of the ones that caused it, but is it unique, so unique that we cannot fix it as fast? And is this cost correct? I mean, that it's that much?
So some of the part of it being unique is it's structurally designed, the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is not typical on a city project. This was funded through federal money. We had to go through an environmental process that required us to put up this noise attenuation wall. This is a design that comes out of TxDOT. So
Right.
one, it's unique to the city as being on a local road. We do have the plans in-house, and we do have the company that helped build that wall, and that's, you know, part of the process where we had to go through and get those quotes and get this purchase going. We worked with a contractor. We show you the pricing in the back. This is the actual cost of the wall. We sat down with them to see, you know, their mobilization, the hours they put in.
No, it costs money to do.
And so
I realize it.
So the cost is rather high. Part of it is that we have to do the engineering for the structural, and then we have to get that. It's a pre-manufactured wall. We had to get the pre-manufacturer to build that wall and send it in. There's about a 4-week lead time on that. As soon as we can execute this contract.
And it's certain areas, would it be feasible to put some type of a guardrail or something? Would that be better? In certain areas of the construction of Bicentennial?
Definitely. I've been working with my ACM. We're in this area, the right-of-way kind of starts tapering down. What we're looking at is to see that we have enough right-of-way to install that. If we have enough right-of-way, we think we could get a guardrail installed in this section on the outside of that wall.
And then the lighting. Is there, I know there's lighting in some of the areas, and some of the areas does not have any lighting.
So like we talked about, the right-of-way kind of narrows down. What we're trying to use, or what we're looking into right now with our traffic department is to, since there's limited right-of-way, typically we get AEP or Magic Valley to install those for us. There's a small little section. We're looking at doing solar lighting to make up that gap. We're working with our traffic department to purchase those and get those installed. For the rest of the stretch, we've installed the lighting. We know it's adequate. This area we can add additional with that solar lighting.
I just also want to say, for the record, staff has tried to figure this thing out, and it's the first time, since it's a new road and it's new barriers, and it's a learning experience, but I know that we're gonna try to make it work out a little better for the residents there in that area, and also to have it a little better lighted and a little, better for security. But it is being used, and there will be accidents, just like there's accidents everywhere. But, so that's what you have to look at. How can we guard that area?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item.
4A is a budget amendment for items 3B and 3C that you just approved.
To move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
5A is consideration of a variance request to one, to not dedicate any street right-of-way for an east-west quarter-mile collector, and two, to not provide alley for solid waste collection and allow residential bins for a multifamily development at McAllen Oaks North Subdivision, 2701 State Highway 107.
Yes, sir. McAllen Oaks North is a proposed 62-lot multifamily development located on the south side of State Highway 107. There were two rezoning requests earlier today, and so now the property has been zoned to R3A. Developer is requesting two variances, one to not dedicate for an east-west collector along the southern portion, and initially it was also to not provide alleys for a multifamily development. The first variance is requested due to not having connectivity to the west and to the east. We are recommending approval of that variance. Just before this meeting, we were able to come to an agreement for variance number 2, so at this point, we don't need any action. On variance number 2, we will be having centralized pickup locations. So at this point, we would just be recommending approval of the right-of-way variance.
And that's the workshop that we had earlier, right?
That is correct, sir.
On the
What?
alleys and all that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Motion to approve as to
Second.
variance 1.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Managers report.
6A is the discussion of 2023 proposed tax rate. Take a record vote and schedule a public hearing and meeting to adopt the tax rate.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commission. So for fiscal year 23-24, the proposed rate is 0.457 per 100 valuation. In order to follow procedure, we must take record vote. After that, we'll be publishing a notice of public hearing on a tax increase. And the only reason that it's going to state tax increase is because the proposed rate is 0.457285 per 100. But the no new revenue tax rate is 0.435399. Therefore, we must publish a public hearing on a tax increase. After that, we will hold the public hearing, and you will vote on the tax rate. We have set the public hearing on the proposed tax rate to be on September the 25th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. At 5 o'clock in the same meeting, City Commission chambers. And even though, like I stated, the proposed rate is not higher than last year's tax rate, because it is higher than the new revenue tax rate, we must follow procedure. So at this time, everyone must vote for or against this proposed rate.
So the procedure is to put out in the newspaper that we're gonna have an increase.
And notice of public hearing
Even though
increase.
that we're really not gonna have an increase in tax rate, but we're hopefully gonna lower our tax rate, correct?
Correct.
But yet, we're still probably gonna receive hundreds of calls from our community that are gonna be angry at us,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hopefully they understand that we're gonna hopefully decrease the tax rate. But, okay.
Is this question by 2 points?
It's a difference of 0.022615 compared to last year's tax rate.
Reduction.
Yes, reduction.
Move to approve?
2.2 cents reduction.
Yes, sir.
Which
So-
is at about a 4% reduction.
Yes, it is a 4.71%.
4 points. So can we put that like next to the notice of an increase?
The notice will state all that. It's going to state the total tax rate from last year,
Yes, but
this
I also
year.
remember that the top of it says notice of a tax increase, which is not.
Well, I understand, but the reason it is a notice of
Just
tax,
I understand.
the wording is because the no new revenue tax rate is less than the proposed rate.
Make a motion to approve, and you need a record?
We need a record,
This is by
yes.
record vote.
Yes.
So we have to do one by one.
Is there a second?
Second.
Rudy?
Aye.
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 Okay, so just to rephrase that,
There's 8 yeses. Maybe 9. Maybe 9 yeses. Put that in the paper.
Tony really liked
so we will hold, like I stated, we will hold a notice of public hearing on tax increase on September
September 23rd, 5 p.m.?
September 25th. And at the same meeting, you will be voting for the tax rate immediately following the public hearing.
And another record vote, correct?
Another record
That's
vote,
what I
yes,
thought.
that is
We'll get it right
correct.
the next time. I mean,
Any other
in order.
questions?
Thank you.
We're
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Sochi, do some magic and inform the community what's going on. Okay, Immigration Respite Center report.
Eugene Mayor, members of the commission. In the report given on the August 14th meeting, the numbers for the first and second week in August were 3,425 and 3,156 respectively, with about a 6.6 positivity rate. During the third week of August, we saw about 3,725 immigrants and about 3,513 in the fourth week of August. It does constitute a slight uptick. However, the positivity rate dropped to about 4%. We have a population of under 100 at Unsalvador's Park, and the capacity remains around the 2,000 mark. I want to entertain any questions.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Future agenda items. Okay, if not, items for executive session, Counselor?
Mayor, with respect to item 7A1, I recommend the City Commission consider a motion authorizing city manager and city attorney to take those steps reasonable and necessary to sell, or reasonable and necessary to prepare to sell the real property on the terms described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Next item.
Mayor, with respect to item 7A2, I recommend the City Commission consider a motion authorizing city manager and city attorney to negotiate the purchase of the property on the terms described in the executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Mayor, with respect to item 7B1, I recommend the City Commission take no action.
Okay.
With respect to item 7C, I recommend the City Commission consider a motion authorizing the city attorney to defend the city in the pending litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Do you want authority to take, to do some work on 7B1?
Yes, I think I would prefer that we are authorized to not accept the offer as described in executive session.
That's a reasonable motion.
Okay.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. That's all we have, Counselor?
Mayor, the next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Well, before we adjourn, I think we had a birthday this past Friday, Commissioner. Happy birthday. I forgot to announce it in the beginning, I apologize.
Thank you, everyone.
And there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Regular City Commission meetings are held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Meetings are rebroadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the McAllen Cable Network.
La ciudad de McAllen cree que los comentarios públicos son una importante parte en dejando que sus ciudadanos tengan sus voces escuchadas. Si tienes una idea para mejorar nuestros parques, problemas con automóviles manejando rápido por tu vecindario, sugerencias para aliviar el tráfico en la ciudad o cualquier otro tema que quieras llamar a la atención de la Comisión de la ciudad de McAllen ofrece a sus ciudadanos una oportunidad para que hablen antes de cada una de las juntas de la Comisión de la Ciudad. registrarse es fácil. Las formas de inscripción para hacer comentarios públicos deben completarse y presentarse a la secretaria de la ciudad no más tarde de las 4 p.m. en el día de la junta o taller. Con el fin de cumplir con la Ley de Reuniones Abiertas de Texas, los funcionarios electos no podrán entablar conversaciones sustantivas con los ciudadanos que participan en comentarios públicos. Las formas de comentarios sobre la agenda deben completarse y enviarse a la secretaria de la ciudad antes de que comience la reunión a las 5 p.m. El comentario público no excederá de 2 minutos. Se les sugiere a los grupos que desean dirigirse a la comisión de la ciudad que tengan solo un portavoz para presentar las opiniones de los grupos. La salud y el bienestar de sus ciudadanos es importante para la ciudad de McAllen y por eso ha creado protocolos de seguridad contra el COVID-19 para dar una oportunidad de participar en comentarios públicos virtualmente. Para una reunión, taller o junta típica de la comisión del lunes, para hablar virtualmente, los ciudadanos deben enviar las formas de inscripción a la oficina de la secretaria de la ciudad por un correo electrónico a plara@mcallen.net al final del día el viernes antes de la reunión. Cuando la forma de inscripción se reciba, los ciudadanos recibirán un correo electrónico o llamada telefónica proporcionando el número de teléfono e enlace para llamar y acceder a la reunión. Todos los ciudadanos deben registrarse antes de las reuniones programadas. Cuando sea reconocido por el alcalde, el individuo se acercará al podio, indicará su nombre para el registro de la reunión e identificará el tema sobre el que desea hablar. Una vez concluido el tiempo designado para el comentario público, la comisión de la ciudad puede reanudar las deliberaciones sin más oportunidad de comentarios públicos en esa reunión. La ciudad de McAllen anima a sus residentes a dejar que sus voces sean escuchadas para crear una mejor comunidad y gobierno para todos. Aunque queremos saber de usted, la ciudad debe cumplir con la Ley de Reuniones Abiertas de McAllen. Para más información o si tiene preguntas sobre comentarios públicos o comentarios de la agenda, pónganse en contacto con la oficina de la secretaria de la ciudad al 956-681-1020 para obtener asistencia. O visítenos en el segundo piso del municipio de la ciudad de McAllen en el 1300 Houston Avenue. Nos vemos en el podio.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on this edition of McAllen News Update. I'm Leah Yadis.
And I'm Roy Canthu. McAllen Summer Art and Music Festival brought the community together, celebrating young Latino culture.
3, 2, 1,
McAllen 2023 event theme was These Are Our Roots, We Are the Flowers, where attendees enjoy live muralists, the Breakthrough Music Stage, open calenda street parades, artisan mercado and crafts, and traditional cuisines with their culinary festivals.
I'm very excited about the Paplanta dancers. I have not seen that, so I'm excited for that, and also for the shopping door.
Just a lot of fun, food, just a good time for the family.
McAllen is where young and rising artists, thought leaders, and revelers reconnect with pre-colonial traditions while expressing their own vision of an ever-evolving culture.
It's something that we're going to continue to grow. In fact, we're going to announce tonight that we're going to move it a little bit big secret, to May. So it's a little cooler, and it's going to be coinciding with a very special event that Mexico celebrates. And so our desire and want to continue to connect to Mexico is never ending, and I think you're going to see that tonight.
Thousands of people from throughout McAllen and the Rio Grande Valley enjoyed the festival, giving Latino locals a chance to celebrate their roots.
I decided to come because I've been coming for the last 2 years and I really enjoy the event. I think it's amazing. I do know that they talk a lot about the Oaxacan culture, and my dad's from Oaxaca, so it's really close to home for me.
I love Mexican culture as a Mexican myself, and I love the art, as you can tell. I'm all dressed up, and the food. Yes, I'm looking forward to the food.
Well, we really need to support some of the initiatives the city of McAllen is doing, and what a great event y'all are hosting this weekend. So, I mean, we really need to bring the kids and learn about culture and really utilize all these fun events that y'all have invested in the city.
Other activities celebrated throughout McAllen included McAllen Tequila Premium Tasting Experience, Sabor a Mexico, Lucha Libre, and even a live performance by Carla Morrison at the McAllen Performing Arts Center. McAllen is the largest interactive arts event in the Rio Grande Valley. Expect the Latino celebration to return next May.
I think that anybody that wants to come should come because it's a very fun event. It's family friendly and there's pretty much everything to do here.
And kicking off the festivities for McAllen 2023, a gala benefiting the Performing and Cultural Arts Foundation. The 2023 McAllen Gala took place on Thursday, July 27th at the McAllen Performing Arts Center. A special benefit dinner was held celebrating the new McAllen Performing and Cultural Arts Foundation.
McAllen does a lot of things first, you know, whether it's in the way we do contracts or purchasing or whatever, right? And so this building is a great example of that. No one else has a facility like this, of this magnitude and of this beauty. And so this is for performing arts. And what we're starting is that very thing, is that we're starting a new way of, one, inviting the community to this amazing facility for all kinds of events, but also a foundation that we have never had before. And so we wanted to make it really, really special. This is for people that want to be here, that want to help us make that foundation successful, which means time, energy, and treasure. And so these folks that are here are basically committing to do that and helping us raise awareness and funds for our future.
The McAllen Performing and Cultural Arts Foundation serves to preserve, promote, and advance the arts industry to enhance the range, quality, and accessibility of performing and cultural arts available to the public here in McAllen.
We are striving to make the city of McAllen more inclusive and make arts accessible for everybody. This gala tonight is going to give us the opportunity to do so. Tonight we are going to be raising money for students to be able to take additional arts programming classes, scholarships for the Palm Awards, and scholarships for various schools in the Valley. We're so excited to be able to do that. We're so excited to be able to contribute to making the arts more inclusive, to making this beautiful venue accessible for everybody.
This foundation, the reason that it's so important is to help us fund those programs that we want to bring here. That way it pushes down the prices for people to be able to come in, especially the ones that we're targeting to bring in at a low cost or no cost.
The gala served as a fundraiser for the foundation, promoting the arts and education and contributing to the cultural life of South Texas. The night also included a dinner presentation featuring special live performances by Trio Los Panchos, soprano Leticia de Altamiro, and tenor Dante Alcalá. More on McAllen. Friday's opening night featured McAllen's newest Mexican sister city, Puerto Vallarta. In a formal signing ceremony held at the McAllen Performing Arts Center, the city of McAllen officially became a sister city with the city of Puerto Vallarta, located in Jalisco, Mexico. A delegation of distinguished guests and officials from Puerto Vallarta visited McAllen to formalize the sister city agreement, which was first established last July 2022.
Es un lugar que tiene historia.
Puerto Vallarta is a place that has history. It is a place to play. It is a beach destination where you can vacation, you can invest, you can have fun on a boat ride, go fishing, take a walk. We have something for all the budgets.
The signing solidified the friendship and strong relationships between McAllen and Puerto Vallarta. The city of McAllen Mayor Javier Villalobos explained the importance of the collaboration between the cities, making the start of endless opportunities for our respective region.
And whether it's Puerto Vallarta or somebody else, these type of events are very important to us. We always talk about commerce, we talk about trade, we talk about exchanging cultural ideas or educational ideas. It is so beneficial to ourselves, to our McAllen, and also to Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Alberto Michel states that the strengths come from having the ability to rely on each other.
Hacer un hermanamiento con McAllen.
Becoming a sister city with McAllen strengthens us as a city as a culture grows in the commercial, tourist, gastroeconomic field in all areas. A city is strengthened from another city.
McAllen currently has 21 sister cities around the world, with 17 of them located in Mexico, which is especially important in creating a bond between the two countries, strengthening trade, tourism, and relationships.
Well, it means that we will try to push to promote each other, and a lot of the times what it means for a lot of us is tourism. Who does not love Puerto Vallarta? And a lot of times, what is it also? Commerce and trade coming back and forth. And when we go to Mexico, who doesn't love McAllen? So we got to keep promoting, and that's exactly what we're doing.
We're inviting all the friends of McAllen to visit our destination, and all the same, we are also going to invite all the brothers from Puerto Vallarta to come to McAllen so that we can have that approach and strength beginning today.
The Sister City Welcome and McAllen opening ceremony took place during the highly anticipated cultural event inside the McAllen Convention Center, Exhibit Hall, and McAllen Performing Arts Center.
McAllen Economic Summit brings down an expert on Texas-U.S.-Mexico relations to discuss the Rio Grande Valley's future. This landmark event aimed to highlight the South Texas region's unique geographic position and explore the significance it has on international commerce. Prominent industry experts from banking, real estate, and entrepreneurs served on various panels at the McAllen Economic Summit. Duncan Wood, an expert on Texas-U.S.-Mexico relations based in Washington, D.C., discussed how the South Texas region possesses a geographical advantage, making it a critical hub for cross-border trade and investments.
The potential here is enormous. Part of it is, in fact, the demographics, the workforce, of course. It's a very young population down here. It's largely a bilingual population. What we could do here, given the location and the workforce, there's kind of no limit to it. We just need to get the right kind of focus and the right kind of policies in place.
Organizers say McAllen, situated at the heart of this dynamic region, plays a pivotal role in facilitating trade and investment flows between the U.S. and Mexico. Understanding the potential impact of this unique positioning is vital to capitalize on emerging opportunities and tackle any challenges that may arise.
The City of McAllen hosted day-long events for the 95th Annual Independence Day celebration presented by HEB. The City of McAllen kicked off the annual Independence Day celebration presented by HEB with an early morning 4K run and a patriotic program immediately followed by the Main Street Parade. The fun then continued at Freedom Festival, where families enjoyed music, food, and games. The municipal pool also held their annual aquatic extravaganza, and finally families ended the day's celebration at Municipal Park with food, music, and games, and a monumental blast of color and light for Concert in the Sky.
The McAllen Holiday Parade kicks off their Christmas in July for their 10th year anniversary celebration. This year, organizers are promising to bring the biggest and best parade spectators have ever seen. The City of McAllen jump-started the holiday festivities with Christmas in July, unveiling the 2023 theme of the McAllen Holiday Parade, presented by HEB and powered by Bird Ogden Auto Group. Additionally, the winners of the 2022 McAllen Holiday Shoebox Parade were announced, with the winning shoebox float entry revealed. The winning entry, designed by 12-year-old Ana Munoz, will be made into a 30-foot life-size float that she and her family will get to ride on when the parade steps off at 6 p.m. from the McAllen Veterans Memorial Stadium on Saturday, December 2nd.
Well, I got inspired by snowmen and snow in general. I'm grateful for them giving me an opportunity to go and having my own float in the parade for this year.
This year, the largest illuminated holiday and helium balloon parade in Texas will be celebrating its 10-year anniversary with the theme South Pole Dreamland. Stay tuned for more surprises and announcements leading up to the parade, including announcements of appearances by international celebrities of TV, film, radio, music, and of course everyone's favorites from Dallas, Texas, that delight fans of every age. Also returning in 2023 is the MHP Sweepstakes, which will offer amazing prices. There is once again a free park and ride for everyone attending the parade, and of course some of the best seats in the house will be available at the South Padre Island Vuelta Zone and McAllen International Airport Skybox, which have become festive areas that are parties within the party for everyone in attendance. So mark your calendars for December 2nd, 2023 for the best parade in the world that you won't want to miss. Let's play ball. Hundreds of young girls competed to see who has the best softball team in the world. More than 1,200 softball players, their families and friends attended the grand opening ceremony of the Pony Softball International World Series at McAllen Veterans Memorial Stadium in July. The tournament was hosted by the Boys and Girls Club of McAllen and the City of McAllen.
Softball is actually like the biggest when it comes to sports tourism. Girls softball will bring in just a huge economic impact. So we were excited that Pony chose our beautiful city to be able to host it. And we have about 1,800 players right now. And of course, thousands of fans, spectators. You know, we have a delegation from the Philippines to make sure that they're cheered on. Of course, Mexico always brings it. And the United States last year took it in the 18U and 16U. So we have little ones from 6U all the way to 18U.
For the second year now, 120 different teams from the United States, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Europe, Japan, China, and the Philippines participated in the international tournament held right here in McAllen.
The City of McAllen partners with CityBot to launch Ask McAllen. The City of McAllen launched its new customer service platform, Ask McAllen, an additional customer service tool that includes a text message feature and an accessible WeChat assistant on the City of McAllen's website. This new feature is part of City of McAllen's well-established and highly used 311 customer service call center and mobile app. To start a conversation via text message, simply text the word hello to MC311 or 62311. Ask McAllen immediately responds with a short reading explaining the ways the service can be used with a link to sign up for a text message notification. For more information on how to use Ask McAllen, visit McAllen.net.
The City of McAllen's Quinta Mazatlan is sparking creativity this summer. Quinta Mazatlan and the Valley Land Fund are hosting Southern Exposures, the annual nature photography contest for kids. Photographs should include a nature or wildlife theme taken only within the RGV region. The first contest offers prizes for every child that enters, including a photo featured in the award-winning exhibit, plus a chance to win cash prizes. The winner will be announced August 17th at Quinta Mazatlan and will have their image exhibited to showcase their talent. All youth contestants will receive a free t-shirt, a goodie bag, and recognition in the exhibit. Thanks to the generous support of the Valley Land Fund, Quinta Mazatlan of McAllen, HEB, Magic Valley Electric Cooperative, and AEP Texas. The McAllen City Commissioners greenlight the construction at the Center for Urban Ecology at Quinta Mazatlan. On Monday, July 24, during the City Commission meeting, the City Commissioners approved the construction contract to Spa Glass for the construction of the Center for Urban Ecology at Quinta Mazatlan. The $51.9 million project will transform the 12 acres of the nature sanctuary into an educational space with many committed stakeholders, including the state of Texas, Texas Parks and Wildlife, Hidalgo County, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, and McAllen Independent School District, and others. City of McAllen leaders expect the Center for Urban Ecology to become a nationally recognized destination in the Rio Grande Valley, drawing visitors from throughout Texas and northern Mexico. The Q will become a leading Texas destination, a place where education and tourism intersect.
Keep McAllen Beautiful is making state news as one of the most outstanding cities with beautification and educational outreach. Keep Texas Beautiful recognized McAllen and 10 other Texas communities for the Governor's Community Achievement Awards for outstanding community improvement. The cities will share $2 million in landscape funding for a landscaping project to be completed by TxDOT along a state-maintained right-of-way. The Governor's Community Achievement Award is one of the most coveted annual environmental and community improvement honors in Texas. The McAllen Police Department held a radio of silence in memory of fallen police officers. July 11, 2023 marked the third anniversary of the line of duty deaths of McAllen Police Officer Edelmiro Garza Jr. and McAllen Police Officer Ismael Z. Chavez. In their honor and remembrance, the McAllen Police Department observed a 38-second radio silence on the anniversary of their passing.
These officers were killed in the line of duty, providing a police service to our community. So today we've had this moment of silence, which was 38 seconds in duration, and we will remember both officers and always know that they've been part and will continue to be part of our extended family.
The 38 seconds is a sum of 7/11/20, the anniversary of their line of duty death.
In other news, the City of McAllen's Health and Code Enforcement Department is now taking over the animal control duties. To better serve the community, the City of McAllen is changing the philosophy, actions, and name of animal control to Animal Care Services, while the duties and responsibilities remain the same, enforcing city and state codes, rules, and regulations, and investigating animal neglect and cruelty cases. McAllen's Health and Code Enforcement Department will be in charge instead of the McAllen Police Department. The biggest change in the new philosophy for animal control services is how the division will approach picking up strays or suspected animal abuse. Many pets often get loose and if picked up and dropped off the Palm Valley Animal Society, the City of McAllen's partner animal shelter facility. Pets are more often than not unable to be found and returned to their owner. From now on, residents are asked to try to shelter loose pets and try to identify or locate the pet's proper owner. This will help prevent overcrowding at PVAS. If anyone witnesses an animal being abused, neglected, or an animal attack in progress, they should call 911 immediately. If residents are concerned about an animal being neglected or suspect abuse, they should call 311, McAllen's 311 Customer Service Call Center. That's going to do it for us here. Thank you so much for watching. For the City of McAllen, I'm Roy Cantu.
And I'm Lee Yades. See you next time.
All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Celine Guerrero, and I'm the South Texas Regional Director with It's Time Texas. Joining me is the rest of our South Texas team, Tanya Ugalde Parra and Ricardo Parra. And we are here to thank you all for your participation. I would like to quickly tell you about It's Time Texas. We're a statewide nonprofit that works to bring communities like ours together to take action in support of health for all. We believe Texans, no matter where we live, our age, our race, or our income, should have access to the resources, the support, and the opportunities to make health a priority and to live our best healthy lives. We are here today to recognize the City of McAllen for participating in the Community Challenge for the past several years and for earning top recognition in the large city category. It is because of leadership and staff like you who are here today who have led by example as health champions in your community and actively promoted healthy living. McAllen has made great strides in improving parks, providing access to healthy activities and opportunities to engage and promote health. We sincerely thank you for the incredible work and efforts you bring to the community and ensuring that we are moving more and more mindful of our healthy habits. We thank you for the continued participation and partnership with It's Time Texas. So congratulations to the top city employees who combined earned 713,700 points, reported nearly 5,000 healthy actions, logged a total of 33,547 physical activity minutes, and consumed almost 60,000 ounces of water. And that's just a tip of the data because I didn't include it all, but you guys did amazing, and I thank you for that. I would like to invite Mayor Villalobos to say a few words. And Mayor, I want to sincerely thank you for your leadership and for making health and wellness a priority in the community. Yours and the rest of the community's efforts are a great example of how we can come together to make health a priority. So.
Hey guys, well congratulations. It's something to be very proud of. I think it's a 6th year. And that's something to be proud of. You know, here at McAllen, fortunately, you have some very, I think we have a very good commission that they're very interested in keeping and promoting this type of activity events. We have miles and miles of trails Our parks are increasing. We're trying to do whatever we can for our community to make sure that McAllen is healthy, that McAllen is vibrant, and that we keep on doing and growing it the best way we can. We have tremendous gyms there. I mean, there's gyms all over the place. If y'all ever want to, at 7:30 in the morning, you can see me at Orange Fitness, Orange Theory. Y'all may laugh at me, but I'm there. And it's something that we all can and should do. We have but one life. We got to live it well. We got to take care of ourselves for our family. We got to take care of ourselves for us. So keep on doing what you're doing, and we hope that next year, we should have a lot more points, because even though I was out there exercising and doing whatever I was doing, I'd forget to log it in. Even though I'd keep on telling people, log in, I'd forget. But guys, we're very proud of you. We thank you for what you do. The City Commission, myself, are very proud of all of you and all the efforts of what we're doing. Thank you all so much.
And I do want to quickly open it up to you all who participated and really made that effort to get out there and log activity. Does anyone want to say a few words as far as their experience with the community challenge, and whether you've participated before, if this was your first time? Oh, thank you. No, I'm looking at someone that I spoke to before.
Well, thank you all for all of your efforts. I always love the January through March time, because it makes me feel like I'm getting more points for my efforts, because I do exercise year round. I'm out there jogging. And what I really like about It's Time Texas is you can actually sync your Fitbit or whatever you have, your Apple Watch, to it. So you don't have to remember to log them in, Mayor. We'll set you up next year with a Fitbit. That way you can automatically log in. You do have to still log your water and your food, but at least your exercising will be counted. So thank you all for participating and for keeping McAllen healthy, and it helps our insurance rates when you all get out there and exercise, so keep doing it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, we'll save you for last.
Yes. We're going to have to get a new trophy case just for all of these, because this is the 6th year in a row that we've won, and not only have we won in our category, but we have won continuously with the most points in the state overall. Wow. So I think that's pretty impressive for McAllen and all of our employees and our residents. We've done a lot of fun things here with the City of McAllen with this initiative. Here at City Hall, we started doing a walk around City Hall, and it has continued even beyond the challenge. So even now, at 10 a.m., you'll see employees from different departments who will just walk around, City Hall a few times. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is that that health and wellness is something you can incorporate into your daily life, and not just to win a contest. I mean, obviously, what we're trying to do is win at life, right? Win at health. And so that is something that we're seeing continuing. And one of the other fun things that we did was we had a dance party here. How many of y'all were? Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we broadcast it on the channel and on YouTube, and other employees throughout the city at different locations joined us. We had our own purchasing director as our DJ. And that's something we also want to continue so that people can enjoy that. So that's what we're trying to encourage, not just for the City of McAllen employees, but for all of our residents as well. So this certainly helps us, and is something that we're trying to promote the health and wellness living for our employees and our residents. So thank you, It's Time Texas, for this recognition, and we're going to keep it up.
Yes, I'm glad to see
that. Yes, we will.
Okay, one more person, Mr. Estrada, I'm looking at you. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And first of all, I'd like to thank the It's Time Texas Challenge team. Let's give them a big round of applause as well. As it was said, this was initiated here in the city of McAllen 6 years ago. And I know that everyone here today has played a big role in making all this possible. And of course, we go all the way to the top, starting with the mayor. Thank you so much for your support, continuous support. And of course, our city managers, our commissioners, Xochitl, and the media. So we've been very, very
thankful and blessed that we have the support that makes all this possible for not only the city of McAllen, but some of the surrounding communities that have also participated, and they're up there. So I think that we've done our due diligence in making all this possible and living a healthier life and promoting wellness. So thank you so much. And Rafael is also here somewhere. There he is. He's always been very instrumental. Thank you for all you do. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. And I do want to add, as far as like how we're getting like regionally more involved, we had, I believe, close to 22,000 participants statewide. And there were 11,000 of those participants were from here in the Valley. So I think that that is incredible. And it's really, saying a lot about what we're doing as a community by promoting health and being more active and being more mindful about, how we eat and how we, just take care of ourselves as a whole. So I think that's just incredible. And let me get back to my notes because I can't go off script. But thank you all once again, and congratulations to all of the top participants. I know that some of you have already grabbed your certificates. We do have some giveaways over there. I just want to remind you that you all are making a difference with your healthy efforts, and you are leading your community by example. I want to thank city leadership, all of you, for the continued partnership and participation. We're excited to continue this partnership and work together to create a more active and healthy community and Rio Grande Valley. So thank you all very much.
New philosophy, new uniforms, new department, and even a new name give Animal Care Services a new mission for stray, neglected, and abused animals in McAllen. On this episode of 10 Questions with Leo, we meet with one special individual who's part of the team and is giving us all the details.
I'm an animal care service officer, and I provide service for animal control to the public, as in providing information about how things are being run now, any ordinance that needs to be reinforced, and provide more educational purposes. Roughly 2 years to 2 years and 6 months. Basically, we clock in by 7:30, and we have to be here at this office roughly around 7:45, and we just get paperwork that we need. We just do some paperwork. We have to get which is like a considered like list of calls and what needs to be done, and from there we all hit the road and we basically go talk to the residents, anything that needs to be done. The best part of my job is to coming and getting along with my coworkers. We work as a team, and then from there we just like working together. Educating people about the new policies. Some people do not know about what's going on now, about the new change, and what's our new way of animal care service. Something interesting that has happened would probably be having wild pigs in the city limits, going into residents' homes, so which we would have to get game warden involved, or we'll be involved, and sometimes we'll have to stand by, and sometimes we try to push them away. If not, we'll get game warden involved, see what their opinions are, because it is considered a wild animal. Services that we provide are, we sometimes if people need food, we do provide food for the public. I know sometimes it is hard with today's economy to purchase food. I know family comes first, and I know it's really hard on animals sometimes. So sometimes you just give us a call, and then we'll try to give you some food as what we got. We do provide food. The shelter does donate food, give us food to take to y'all, to the public. Other services that we provide is that we do pick up dead animals off the roadways. If they are on property, we do not pick them off if they're on property. That's one of our new policies that we have. So we do advise the public not to be shy. Give us a call and ask any questions, and we'll be happy to help them. Pool tournaments. I do pool tournaments. I go to Fast Eddie's and do a lot of pool tournaments. I started playing pool at 18, and I'm roughly in my early 20s. I started actually getting into the competitions for fun. Never won anything major, but just for the fun we go. New people and new faces, different challenges, the way they work. So treat others like you want to be treated, and just love yourself. Working for the city actually is one of my biggest ones. I used to work at the Humane Society, which is another accomplishment, but working for the city is better because I get to see the other side of animal welfare.
Thanks, Kevin, for all you do to keep the City of McAllen community safe. Residents, if you witness an animal being abused, neglected, or an animal attack in progress, please call 911 immediately. If you are concerned about an animal being neglected or suspect abuse, call the McAllen 311 Customer Service Call Center. Lastly, try to shelter loose pets and try to identify or locate the pet's proper owner. This will help prevent overcrowding in Palm Valley Animal Society. The benefits of pet ownership comes with responsibilities. For the City of McAllen, I'm Leah Illades.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Xochitl Mora. I am the Director of Communications for the City of McAllen, and I'm so honored to serve as your MC for today's ceremony. Before we begin, I would like to ask Mr. Leo Longoria to join us up here at the podium for a quick prayer.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here today, and it is with a humbling heart that I'm here opening up this morning prayer. If we may all please just bow our heads or just remain silent. Dear Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for a beautiful day of life that you have gifted us. We praise and worship you and thank you for your loving kindness that never fails us. Dear Lord, we want to also praise the Longoria family. We want to praise the City of McAllen and for all of their endeavors, for everything that they do. We wish and we pray the City of McAllen much success in future endeavors. We also want to lift our hands and our hearts to the Longoria family, to Chief Victor for allowing us to be here today. With that, I ask with a humbling heart that we all take time to get to know the Longoria family, and in his mighty name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Longoria. Before we begin, I would like to recognize all of our special guests here with us today. We start with the Honorable Javier Villalobos, who had to leave just right now. He has another engagement. Oh, you are still here, Mayor? I'm sorry. Okay, he'll be. He does have one, but he will be joining us shortly. We also have with us the Honorable Joaquin J.J. Zamora, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner District 2. The Honorable Tony Aguirre, Commissioner District 1. The Honorable Omar Quintanilla, Commissioner District 3. And the Honorable Pepe Cabeza de Vaca, Commissioner District 6. We also have our city manager here with us today, Mr. Roy Rodriguez. Our city attorney, Mr. Isaac Tawil. And of course, our chief of police, Mr. Victor Rodriguez, and all of the current police officers who are joining us here today. Thank you so much for hosting us for this ceremony. Also joining us today is retired lieutenant with the Texas Alcohol and Beverage Commission and member of the committee to commemorate Chief Longoria, Cristina Guerra. From the City of Mission, we have the Police Chief Cesar Torres, and we heard from the former Chief, Mr. Leo Longoria. We have law enforcement representatives from the Cameron County Sheriff's Office as well as South Texas College Police. And we have numerous retired police officers and current law enforcement. We want to thank you all for being here. We also have on the Texas Commission for Law Enforcement, Mr. Mario Liscano. And of course, we'd like to thank all of the members of the Longoria family, including Mrs. Margie Longoria. Thank you so much. We're so honored to be here today for this wonderful ceremony. At this time, I'd like to welcome our police chief to say a few words to welcome you here to our McAllen Public Safety Building.
Good morning, everybody. Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, city manager, and to the City of McAllen staff, welcome to McAllen PD. My role here is simply to welcome you here and just say how proud we are to have every one of you here. It is with special privilege and an honor that I welcome the Longoria family. Mrs. Longoria, welcome to this building once again. I know that we have a host of former and retired McAllen PD personnel here. To all of you, it's always a privilege to see you as well, and welcome back to McAllen PD here today as well. And then lastly, I know we have Chief Longoria here, did us the honors of prayer earlier today. I know I saw Chief Torres here as well from the City of Mission, and to all our other Chief Suarez from South Texas College, and to all our other personnel from law enforcement agencies that are visiting us today. Welcome to McAllen PD, and thank you for being here for the honor of Chief Longoria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief, for your leadership and for helping to keep McAllen safe. I'd now like to welcome the Honorable Javier Villalobos for a few remarks about today's ceremony.
Thank you, and so happy to be here. And first, welcome. We just finished the National Day of Prayer, and we're talking about how blessed McAllen is, and we are. McAllen is blessed, and we're blessed with great leadership now and in the past. Thank you all very much. So today we are here to remember and honor a brave, dedicated McAllen police chief who helped lead the department by example and created a culture of professionalism in our police department. And this is the legacy of Chief Longoria. He helped usher in a modern era and community policing. Chief Longoria instilled and implemented a philosophy and ideology and a culture of policing that transcended time. As mayor of the great city of McAllen, and on behalf of myself and the City Commission, we are so proud to place this plaque in memory of Chief Longoria, so that every police officer, every resident that comes into our department will remember the great service. Longoria family, actually everybody, thank you all so much. Dios me los bendiga a todos. And one last thing. Chief, tell your patrols not to stop me on the way to the airport. Dios me los bendiga.
Thank you, Mayor, for your dedicated service every day with multiple engagements. He's off to meet with Secretary Mayorkas, so he's got a busy day today. To talk about Chief Longoria and his true legacy to our community and to our McAllen Police Department, please help me welcome the Honorable Joaquin J.J. Zamora, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioner District 2 for the City of McAllen.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you again. Good morning, everybody. To family, friends of the Longoria family, thank you for being here. For all the members of our local law enforcement, the McAllen Police Department, with the Mission Police Department, Chief Longoria, Chief Torres, all members of law enforcement are here today, and all other recognized and distinguished guests. I didn't have any prepared remarks this morning because I truly feel that when you speak about a subject matter and you speak about Alejandro Longoria, this is an issue that comes from the heart. And I'm not afraid to say that Chief Longoria may not have been a perfect man, but Chief Longoria was certainly the perfect man for a time and for a position in our city's history that was not so great. McAllen has always prided itself on being a forerunner, being a progressive city, being second to none. But we cannot ignore our history of how things had been and were. And I truly believe, as a student of history, that's where our true education and true growth as a person, as a community comes from. Like the phoenix that rises from the ashes is what this department has come from. And it's been through the tutelage, none other than Alejandro Longoria. He was a perfect man at the perfect time for the circumstances at the time. It goes without saying that he had already dedicated much of his life to service to our community and to our country before his installation as police chief. And I'm not here to re-embellish or go over what had happened. Many of you, just judging by the gray and black hair, we were around during that dark period of our time in our city's history. But it took a very special person, I would say God-driven, like Chief Longoria, to be here to move and make changes in this department and lay the foundation for successors and the communities and children and families that followed to enjoy the many benefits of our public safety department, now led by our own Chief Victor Rodriguez. And as today we stand at this building, in my opinion, our police department is by far the foremost leading police agency in all of South Texas and the entire state. Thank you to Chief Rodriguez. Thank you, sir. On this board, and through no misfortune, there are only 2 members of our City Commission board that actually lived in McAllen during that period of time. And that would be my fellow Commissioner Tony Aguirre and myself. Tony, of course, was already in his 20s. I was un chiquito de 9 years old. But nevertheless, that's what was happening, and that was where it was going. So it was important. And today commemorates an opportunity to recognize Chief Longoria. And I would add, it was long overdue. It was long overdue before members of the special committee, led by Mrs. Longoria herself, Mrs. Cristina Guerra, Mr. Ruben Flores, to bring to my attention that we cannot leave this to be an oversight, that we learn from our past, we learn from our history. And we certainly want to recognize and honor those in our city's history who have left an indelible mark when it comes to public safety in our city. And so today we do that. And as a side note, I was one of those students that actually learned and had programs that he implemented the Teen Court Program. I was not one of the violators. I was actually on the jury. The DARE program, the GREAT program. He also played a key role in the creation and organization of the Texas Auto Theft Enforcement Task Force, among many, many other organizations and programs to build a sense of community. It goes without saying, for those who know, community policing is one of those programs that Chief Longoria implemented. Today, aside from being a National Day of Prayer, we recognize Chief Longoria. And so it means a lot to me for a man who dedicated his entire life to public safety to protect and serve. Today, I complete 25 years with the Hidalgo County District Attorney's Office. I hope to one day, but I doubt that I will, leave the legacy that Chief Longoria left for all of us in our city, in our community, to enjoy, to feel safe in our homes, to feel and have McAllen noted, recognized nationally among the top 10 safest cities in America. That is not by any chance. That came through a lot of hard work that came after Chief Longoria laid a very strong foundation for our city when it came to police protection and public safety. So we honor him today, and we certainly honor you, Mrs. Longoria, for the many wonderful things that Chief Longoria left. He has a legacy that no one, in my estimation, can rival, and the impact is beyond the city limits of our city. And so with that, we thank you. And thank you to all of you that are here today. I wasn't so sure how many would be here or even remember to even know why we're here to commemorate. But we're here nevertheless. It's been a process to get this to this point, to recognize Chief Longoria for his outstanding accomplishments, achievements, and contributions. And I never got to really personally meet Chief Longoria, except maybe through a school event, right, back when I was in school here. But he truly exemplifies what it means to be a public servant, which includes self-sacrifice, long nights, I'm sure as you came to know Mrs. Longoria, of being away from your home and family. Just like all other first responders, Chief Longoria took that to heart. And to this day, we honor him through a plaque recognizing him and some that he left an indelible mark on our city. And we thank him for his contributions, his talents, his time, and his leadership to this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zamora, for your dedicated and passionate service to McAllen and for being one of our greatest cheerleaders for our residents and their contributions to McAllen. To speak on Chief Longoria, I'd like to invite members of the committee to come forward. Ms. Tina Guerra, please, if you'd like to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. How appropriate on the day of prayer. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. My name is Cristina Guerra. I'm a retired lieutenant with the Enforcement Division of the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Being the small state agency we were, it was necessary to develop relationships with larger police departments with more resources to accomplish our goals. That is how I came to know Chief Longoria and McAllen PD. There were no women officers in the valley at the time. And you would have thought he would have turned me away when I came to ask for help, but he didn't. He opened the door not just to McAllen Police Department, but to other departments as well that contributed to amazing, successful enforcement initiatives. As Commissioner Zamora mentioned, the phoenix rises from the ashes, so did McAllen PD, with Chief Longoria at the helm. He was a bridge builder not commonly seen, and especially in today's world. I had the privilege of working with this committee, and I want to take the time to recognize each one of them and ask them to step forward so you can see most of us have gray hair, okay? Because we lived through that time. Dr. Ruben Flores, a professor and former McAllen PD officer. He's a professor with South Texas College. Roberto Garcia, local attorney, well known through law enforcement. Ramiro Gonzalez, retired lieutenant, McAllen PD. Diana Ramos, retired McAllen PD employee and personal friend. Elena Rashid, Chief Longoria's niece. I want to especially recognize Richard Swan.
Okay, we're back into regular session. Mr. City Attorney.
Mayor Pro Tem, with respect to item 1A, I recommend the City Commission consider a motion authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate as described in executive session.
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And Mayor Pro Tem, with respect to item 1D, I recommend the City Commission authorize city attorney and city manager to sign the insurance contracts as described in executive session.
Okay, is there a motion? There's a motion now? Is there a second? And there's a second. I'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Mayor Pro Tem, I have nothing else on the agenda for you today.
Okay, there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
This concludes the special called meeting of the McAllen City Commission.
He went ahead and changed it for the better. He brought in community-oriented policing into the police department. And then he created this partnership between the community and the police. I don't know what's happening throughout the country now in other areas, but now because of